go ahead and start the second one. Hello, happy campers. I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
Still Chris. This is still old Captain America. This is Captain America at the end of Avengers Endgame or whatever the hell that one was called. Because, yeah, look at him. See how wrinkled he is? And he's angry, too. He's had to deal with Sharon Carter for 50 or 60 years.
I don't know.
No wonder he's a little ticked off.
What am I doing that?
1940 Sharon Carter? Heck no, you don't mind doing that. But, or Peggy Carter, I should say. Sharon Carter's daughter, although he was banging her, too, apparently. But,
niece, I think.
Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter. Although she was smoking hot in the 40s and in the 2010s stuff, probably a little loose there. But anyway, we are back and we are discussing. Did we introduce ourselves? We did introduce ourselves, didn't we? That's where the brain cells are at. Okay, this time we are continuing in our second episode of Closure. This time we're talking about The Mandalorian, which had its season finale this past Friday, as we try to release this, hopefully. Hopefully releasing this from last Friday. Alright, Mandalorian Season 1 done. We know Season 2 is on the way. We're going to have more Mando. We're going to have more Baby Yoda.
Sadly, we won't get to see Season 2 until fall of 2020. It's still a long way, but we'll have more stuff.
Wah. Mandalorian in fall 2020 is still better than no Mandalorian, correct?
That is true.
And if this were network television, when would you be getting Season 2? Fall of 2020. So, quit your bitching.
I'm not bitching.
Yes, you are. You whiny little sniveling baby. Closure on The Mandalorian. Oh my God, I can't believe it. 2 black men survived the end of a Hollywood production. Okay, spoiler alerts, okay? If you have not seen the final episode of The Mandalorian, don't watch this. Just go ahead and watch that and then come back, okay? But, for those of you who are still sticking around, the 2 black guys, the one who is playing Moff Tarkin, is that his name?
Yeah.
The Grand Moff, and Mando's, well, I don't want to say Mando's pimp, Mando's talent agent, Carl Weathers, the guy he was playing. They both survive a Hollywood production. Golf clap for you white guys for letting the brothers live. Congratulations. Although they did kill off Nick Nolte, and I understand there are still a lot of fans pissed off about killing off Queel.
I was actually surprised. Well, actually, I was surprised that they brought him back, because in the first episode, it's like, oh hey, it's Nick Nolte. They even got a puppet that looks just like Nick Nolte.
Now, yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so that was the first episode. I was like, all right, he leaves him behind, and then they bring him back, and I'm like, oh, wow. So,
not only that, it actually advanced the plot.
Yeah.
Now, now, this is for closure, okay? The first season's done. Second season, we don't know what's going to happen yet. Again, spoiler alert, we're going to get more Mando, we're going to get Baby Yoda. They both survive. Most of the Mandalorians are now apparently dead at the hands of the First Order.
I don't think. I don't know.
There's a few who hopefully escaped off planet, but apparently, according to the armorer or whatever she's called, the one who's pretty much left in charge of all these guys, she's still at the forge.
Yeah. Don't know if she dies or not.
Oh, no, she makes it through to the end because she wiped out about 15, 20 stormtroopers along the way, which we also need to discuss. Because I have a theory about why stormtroopers can't shoot straight. But anyway.
I like to hear that theory.
Let's go back to the beginning of Episode 8, okay? Because we have seen throughout Star Wars, through all 9 movies, which I'm not discussing anymore right now, okay? Through all 9 movies, through all the cartoons, through all the shows, through everything that's ever been Star Wars, including the holiday special, incredibly enough, stormtroopers couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with the broadside of a barn. You could give a stormtrooper a barn and have him try to hit the broadside of another barn. He couldn't do it. I believe there's actually a reason, because there's a scene at the beginning of this when you set it out for him. Explain what happens.
Well, of course, Mandalorian and his group is under fire. They're trapped in a place. And while all that's going on, they send two Star Troopers to go out, grab Baby Yoda, and all that stuff. Well, right now they're waiting there for more orders, and they decide to just goof off. I would say goof off, but honestly, I think that's their actual. I think they're just stupid.
Quick aside, the two guys inside the Stormtrooper armor are actually two comedians. Okay, literally they're two comedians. I can't think of their names.
I did not look it up,
but they were actually comedian. They actually are two comedians. They're not like stratospheric level yet.
I knew it had to be somebody.
They're getting a lot of exposure from this one because they've got this little thing. They can't get Baby Yoda to shut up. Okay, so Baby Yoda's sitting there cooing and squirping and all this other stuff, and one of them's like just smacks him around to try to settle him down. Finally, the other one sits there and bops the bag he's in to try to get him to shut up. And then one of them sees a little object off sitting in the sand, so he decides to get a little target practice in. He pulls out his pistol, cocks it, shoots, and misses 3 feet to the left. He takes another shot 3 feet to the right, and he's missing this thing. His partner's sitting there, the one holding Baby Yoda in a pouch. He's sitting there, looks at him, pulls out his own pistol, and decides to take another shot.
Wait. Did you see the way the other one acts before he pulls out? He kind of like looks at him, at his partner, like, you know, like he's going to show him off.
And zap, 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 zap. Now, I've got a theory here, and this has nothing to do with closure. But I actually do have a theory, because this actually does offer some closure for something. People always wondered, why can't stormtroopers hit anything? I have an idea, okay? Let's go back to the movies for a second. I said I wouldn't, but how many times were the stormtroopers able to shoot Luke in Episode 4? How many times did they actually hit Luke?
I think they did none.
Okay. How many times did they manage to shoot Han? How many times did they shoot Leia? Okay, now, how many times did they shoot at him? Over and over and over. How many times did they blow the Millennium Falcon out of the sky? Can't do it. Empire Strikes Back. How many times were they able to shoot Luke? Now, at the end of Episode 4, Darth Vader has Luke in his sights and can't hit him. Okay? How many times does Darth Vader kill Luke? Okay, at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader has Luke hanging there on the edge of the City of Forever. How many times does Darth kill Luke there? 0. Nobody can shoot these guys because the stormtroopers keep missing. Even Darth misses these guys. Darth blew up an entire effing planet.
Well, they took a long time to aim. They had a lot of time to aim at the planets.
True. But
they had it set up. They said, okay, are we ready? Yeah, all right, fire.
Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, can't shoot anything. Even the little frickin' furball Ewoks are able to outshoot the stormtroopers, okay? Episodes 1 through 3, I'm not going to get into because that's George Lucas's.
Wait. I think I know where you're going with this. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you got the dark side, and you got the Jedi's. All right. What if the Jedi's offer vision, health care, all that? Dark side, you don't get nothing.
Damn, you were so close to my idea. That's not my idea.
You don't get no vision plan.
That's not my idea. That has nothing to do with the vision plan. Now, the dark side has cookies. They don't need no vision plan. Remember that.
Smoking cookies.
Okay, now the Force is made up of what? It's the life of the universe or something. Every living being makes up the Force, okay? There's a light side and a dark side. The dark side of the Force, do you control the dark side of the Force, or does the dark side control you?
I think you do. No.
Come join the dark side. Does that make any sense to you? Come join the dark side. The dark side controls you. Okay, because you're giving in to your anger.
Okay.
Give in to your anger. Give in to your fear. Give in to your greed. Join the dark side. We have cookies. The light side of the Force, you actually have to actively resist anger. Yeah, to be peaceful, you have to resist anger.
And to have vision plan.
And to have the vision plan. And to be peaceful, you have to resist the rage. You have to resist all this stuff. The light side of the Force is constantly dicking with the dark side of the Force. In my theory, every time a stormtrooper draws an aim, he's actually shooting accurately. Something in the Force makes him go this way. So when you don't even notice it when he's going to aim like this, the light side of the Force kind of like gets him over here and he shoots. And he's still seeing over here. Okay, remember you can do the Jedi mind trick where they can't see what you really are.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's aiming dead at it. He's actually aiming 3 feet to the left. So he tries again. He sees he missed because that ruins the illusion. He sees he missed, so he tries to adjust, and the light side of the Force screws with him again, and he shoots 3 feet to the right. He can't hit the broad side of a barn because the light side of the Force won't let him because he's one of the bad guys. Now, as for the two stormtroopers, look around, watch all the movies, watch all the shows and everything. Whenever the stormtroopers miss somebody, who's nearby? And look around. When Luke is not in Episode 4, when he's not at the farm, what do the stormtroopers do? They manage to shoot his adoptive parents. But they can't shoot Luke.
Dude, that is true.
Now,
because even in Force Awakens, when they attack that village, they shoot a bunch of people,
right.
But there's nobody there with the Force.
Right.
Except for
there's
Kylo.
There's no light side guys there, just dark side guys. So in The Mandalorian, Episode 8, who's sitting in the pouch while these two idiots are trying to shoot
Baby Yoda,
Baby Yoda, who is a light side Force user.
Damn.
So there's your closure on that. Because the mystery is explained.
Damn.
That covers it.
Whoosh.
That's why
my brain's just like melting all over.
That's why stormtroopers can't shoot straight. So, moving on with The Mandalorian, like I said, glad to see two brothers escape a Hollywood production intact. That doesn't happen very often unless it's black cinema, and even then, brothers ain't got a guarantee.
It's not like Star Trek and Red.
Red shirt, Star Wars. I can't say Star Wars black skins. That's all Hollywood and black skins. Anything, especially in horror films. Brother's always the first one to go. But anyway. So, anything else on The Mandalorian Episode 8 we need to discuss? I'm trying to think my way through it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that happened in the last episode. I mean, we know the two that traveled with Mandalorian who didn't know why they were after Baby Yoda now knows what Baby Yoda can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, okay, you know, so you got that. The robot, I forgot what his name is.
IG-11.
IG-11.
Now, how am I knowing that? You're supposed to be one of the Star Wars guy.
I don't know.
I'm a Trekker. I'm a Trekkie, actually.
But him and the Mandalorian makes a bond. And, of course, Mandalorian finally shows his face.
I wanted to talk about that, because when I saw that, I was like, no. Guys, I don't get up on my storytelling soapbox very often, okay? Because I'm not a storyteller. I tell stories, but I'm not a writer, not a published writer, not a published creator or anything like that. But even I know, okay? If David screws Maddie, Moonlighting is over. Do you even know what that reference is? Remember when Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd had that mystery series back in the 80s on ABC called Moonlighting?
Moonlighting, yes.
Okay. Then the whole thing, the reason everybody was watching it, will they or won't they? Will they or won't they? Will they or won't they? The answer always has to be won't. Because as soon as you say will, a lot of your audience is going to abandon ship.
So you think that that's what...
I don't think
that's what's going to happen.
I don't think that's what's going to happen here, but showing the Mandalorian's face, giving and attaching a name to him, which I couldn't tell you. Does it matter? But I couldn't tell you what his name is. But that robs him of part of his mystique. Now, for sure, it's the Baby Yoda show, co-starring whoever that idiot is who showed his face underneath the Mandalorian armor.
I will tell you, they did do something way wrong with that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, now I know nobody knew if Mandalorian was going to be as big as what it is. But what they should have done was not mention the actor's name who was playing the Mandalorian. Because I will admit, I was one of those people that was like, I want to find out who plays the Mandalorian. So I Googled it. And it turns out a lot of people has Googled his name, and everybody, because everybody's wanting to know who plays the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I think what they should have done was not mention the actor's name until this moment when you saw his face, and then have everybody go crazy, be like, who is he? You know? That would make him a big star.
Have you ever watched an episode on, say, Netflix or Hulu or something? You're watching this show, and it's getting really interesting, and you just gotta know how it ends. So you fast forward to the end, or you pick up a book, and you're reading a mystery or something, and the book's really good. You gotta know how it ends. You flip to the last page to see how it ends. That's what you and others like you are doing. You want to see what he looks like.
But he's already been in things.
Yeah, I know, because this is his stepping stone. By not showing his face, by making you, what you have done, and others like you, what you have done, you've actually made the effort. Okay, and it's actually an effort to type it into Google. It's going to be Google, okay? Nobody uses Yahoo anymore. Type it into Google and find out, well, who is this guy? What does he look like? What does he look like under that armor? And you find out, and you're part, almost like a secret club. Tee-hee, we know what he really looks like. But once you show once you show his face there in the show and make it canon what he looks like, the mystique is gone. What did Boba Fett look like?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. He died back in what? Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5? Yeah. Okay, the second film, Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5. And who still has fans to the frickin' day? And that's the only reason why The Mandalorian got made in the first place? Boba Fett. And why do they still talk about Boba Fett? Because he's so flippin' mysterious. Yeah, he went out like a punk-ass bitch into a Sarlacc pit. Yeah. That's why I gotta wonder, why in hell did he want that jetpack? I'm sorry, Phoenix Force, whatever it is. Phoenix Breath, whatever. Call a rabbit a smear. Go right ahead. But anyway, once you ruin that mystique, you can't get that mystique back.
But that's why I wish they would have never have put his name, because it will say starring, and it has his name. They should have never have done that. They could have put all the other characters' names on there, just not his. That's
the Boris Karloff defense. Remember Frankenstein? The very first Frankenstein they did back in the 1930s, that's what they did. They put a question mark in as the monster. But people found out it was Boris Karloff anyway, because even back then, gots to know. Screen Actors Guild will not allow that anymore. You're not allowed to do uncredited performances anymore, unless it has to meet very certain criteria. And considering this guy is not like an A-list star who can sit there and say, no, it's all right, guys, I got this. They can leave my name off. He's one of the lower tier guys up to this point. I mean, if he gets another project, yeah, he probably would be able to do it. But the Screen Actors Guild, no way in hell, that union allows one of their members to go uncredited. That's why credits take like 15 minutes at the end of a movie now, because every union in Hollywood wants their members represented in the credits. Which is fine, but
it's just in cases like this, it's kind of like.
I know.
But then again, of course, we didn't know that Mandalorian was going to be as big as what it did. I mean, we had feelings that it would, because everybody was wanting it. And when we watched it, it's like, okay, wow, this is a Western type of, feel to it and all that stuff. I like it. And then it's just, of course, with the help of Baby Yoda, it just kept on going like, oh, That is awesome. That's great. Oh,
all the little touches, all the
yeah.
little shout outs. Jon Favreau is a Star Wars fan, and he's in charge of writing it.
Yeah.
So
very well done.
A good job on that one. Hopefully, Jon Favreau sticks around for a second season, or they can pick somebody who will, who is up to that level, who would be willing.
I hope he does. I hope he keeps going. But I know this episode was directed by, I can never say his damn name, Tiki Waititi.
Yes.
Tiki Waititi.
Yes, Tiki Waititi. Yeah.
Whatever, something like that.
That name, yeah.
Which I'm starting to love this dude because he is freaking. In interviews he's hilarious. We watched at the beginning of the movie the trailers that we was watching for Free Guy.
Mm-hmm.
He plays the villain. He's the one that was behind the desk going woo 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 or whatever it was he was doing. But he did the voice for the robot in this first one and in this one.
In IG-11, yeah.
And he's done. I mean, Thor Ragnarok. He's hilarious.
This is the Mandalorian. Is what happens when you have it. It's what we used to call a jam session. Okay, you take a bunch of talented young creators. Usually, it's a talented older creator who rallies them around, and that's how you get Pearl Jam. Okay, and you come up and you just change. There's things before you. And then there's things before the Mandalorian, and then there's things after the Mandalorian. All of a sudden, I couldn't tell you the name of the director of this last episode, or the guy who plays the Mandalorian, or any of the other stuff. But I bet in a year or so, I could. I bet you I know their names real well by then, because they're going to take this opportunity and they're going to leverage it into a huge opportunity. All because Jon Favreau wanted to put together a jam session and said, let's show the world what we can do. Which brings me up to another question I want to ask of you. Okay, you take Star Wars a little more seriously than I do. Which was better, Episode 7, 8, 9 of Star Wars, or The Mandalorian? Or better yet, let me make it easier on you. Episode 9 or The Mandalorian? Which was better?
Mandalorian.
That's my case. Pearl Jam. J.J. Abrams, in the last episode we were talking about the dumpster fire he had to put out with Episode 9.
Yeah.
And Ron Howard, by the way, on Solo, he had to put out a dumpster fire.
Yeah, he did.
Well, actually, he had to put out an open sewage fire. But anyway, it was...
which also, with all
I
that...
feel so bad for you, Opie. I really do.
It's not his fault. It's just...
Opie, make sure you now have a chip that you can cash in at Disney any darn time you want. You make sure you make them pay for it.
But with what Opie had to deal with on that whole thing is exactly something that people are talking about still with the whole Justice League movie and having Snyder and...
I don't care if it's what's his name? Something Snyder?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. I don't care if it's Zack Snyder or D. Snyder. I don't care. Okay. That was a dumpster fire from start to finish because you didn't develop the characters first. You don't create characters for the Justice League because nobody cares about the characters you create for the Justice League. Okay? Every iteration of the Justice League comic book. Here, I'm going to show you a difference, okay? Let's go back. Let's go back to the 80s when DC's mojo was strong. Okay? Justice League in 1987. Let me see if I can remember their lineup. You had Batman leading the crew. You had Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. You had Rocket Red, who was created for the show, for that series, and then you had two ladies called Fire and Ice. Fire is a Brazilian who controlled fire. Ice was turned out to be an ice queen from Norway. Okay, so you had Batman leading the crew, and they killed. I mean, they absolutely dominated the late 80s. They were kicking the X-Men's ass month after month. It was always a slugfest between the two because it was a Justice League with a sense of humor. The Justice League before that was called Justice League Detroit. It was led by Aquaman. And if you've watched The Flash, you know some of these characters. Vibe, Vibe, Gypsy,
Yeah.
Vixen, Steel, and there's one other I can't think of right now. But anyway, that was Aquaman's crew. All of those characters, except for Aquaman, created expressly for that Justice League. Nobody cares about original characters in Justice League. They want established heroes. They want the big guns. They want Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Okay, they know who Superman is.
Yeah.
They know who Batman is. Wonder Woman, they know who Wonder Woman is. Okay?
Yeah.
The Flash, they may have seen on TV. They don't know who Cyborg is. Aquaman, they didn't know Aquaman yet because Aquaman hadn't come out yet. And who is the other one? Or is there another one? Did I get 7? Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, shoot, Cyborg, and there's one other. Was there 6 or 7?
That was
It was 6. There was 6. That's right. Nobody knew who Cyborg was, okay? Now, I'm not blaming it all on Cyborg. The point is, I don't care about D. Snyder's cut, okay?
Neither do I.
Justice
No,
League.
I mean, neither do I. I'm just saying people are fussing about how that was a tear-up, but it's like there's a story behind that, but Zack Snyder's like telling everybody else, his fans, like, oh yeah, I had this idea, I had that idea, and people are still talking about it to this day, when honestly, who gives a crap?
Best thing Warner can do is release the Zack Snyder cut and just show everybody what a dumpster fire he created. I mean, who knows? He may have done a good movie, but I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, guys who go around blowing their own horn are the only ones blowing anything.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, everybody, like, I mean, Batman versus Superman. Everybody hated that movie. That was a Zack Snyder movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know why everybody wants
all the Superman movies before that nobody could figure out how to do Superman. You're getting the wrong guys to do Superman. Here's the thing, okay? I have a lot more confidence with DC and movies over Marvel movies. At this point, I think they've swapped. Because who's in charge of the DC movies now? Who's in charge of the DC Extended Universe? The movies.
Warner Brothers.
Who?
Oh, the Warner Brothers?
Yeah, who's in charge of it for Warner Brothers? Or AT&T, their corporate overlords. AT&T, the guy with the Death Star, ironically, for their...
The name I cannot think of right now.
Jeff Johns.
Jeff.
You remember the name Jeff Johns?
Yeah, I remember.
Because remember, I used to say I would
we
read
always talked about him.
I would read a restaurant bill he wrote. Yeah, because he's that good at it. And Jeff Johns also worked for another Hollywood director back in the day, way back in the day, like 1978 back in the day, the year after Star Wars, I believe. You Believe a Man Can Fly. Richard Donner. Jeff Johns used to be his second.
Well,
he helped Richard Donner
there you go.
on production of the first Superman movie and the second one.
I like it.
Although Richard Donner was kind of forced out by the producers in partway through the second one. So
we're getting awfully off topic.
So we're getting off topic here.
Sorry.
Closure on the Mandalorian. The point. Let me make one more quick point about DC. Okay, the point was, look at how Marvel set up the Avengers. They did Iron Man. Iron Man was successful, so they were able to do Thor and Captain America and the Hulk. Who are the Avengers going in to the first Avengers movie? Who are your big guns?
Captain America.
Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor.
Yes.
Actually, all of them B-listers, by the way. Remember, Spider-Man's the A-lister. Wolverine is the mainstream guy. Everybody knew who they were, and they were off at other studios. They built these 4 guys and then put them together into a team movie where they were able to add characters to it, but nobody cared because the 4 big guns were there. Robert Downey Jr.'s back in the cave, the box of scraps, and coming up with and managing to recruit Hulk, and he starts using Loki like a playhammer. That's what everybody remembered. That's what DC's going to do this time around. But I don't think it's going to be Justice League. You got Stargirl coming out on the DC Universe app. Okay, I can't remember when that's coming, but it's coming think January. You know, as soon as they finish the Harley Quinn thing, I think. So you got Stargirl coming out. In the movies, you got The Rock playing Black Adam.
Yes.
Okay. So you've Stargirl based on the Star Spangled Boy, who was a 1940s hero.
Yeah.
No, most people don't know that. Black Adam is Captain Marvel, Shazam's arch enemy. Again, 1940s character. In Stargirl and in Black Adam now, if reports are true, you're going to see Jay Garrick, the Flash. You're going to see other 1940s heroes like Our Man, which I always thought would make an awesome TV show. He pops a pill. He can pop a pill once a day. It gives him an hour of superpowers, an hour of power. And he's got to solve it, because if he doesn't, he becomes normal human again in a costume. So he can't fly. He can't be Superman anymore. He only gets 1 hour of power every day. And if he takes the second pill, it kills him instantly. He has to wait 24 hours between pills.
Wow.
I think it'd be an awesome idea for it. He's coming. You've got the original Green Lantern, for God's sake. Alan Scott, the magical Green Lantern, not the one with the super science stuff like the core.
African American one, right?
No, that's John Stewart, not John Stewart. John. You would throw me off base. Anyway, Alan Scott. The original Green Lantern. You're going to have the Spectre showing up there. The Spectre actually showed up in the Flash episode.
Yeah, I was like,
Ollie Queen's going to be the new Spectre there. So you're going to get introduced to that concept. DC, now that Jeff Johns is in charge of all the non-comic book stuff, he's the guy, he's Avi Arad for today. Okay, yeah. Avi Arad's already moved on. He's doing other things for Marvel, making them more billions somewhere. Jeff Johns is now in that sweet spot. He's got the unifying vision. Okay, DC does best when they got a unifying vision. Okay, and we'll talk about this sometime. I'll introduce you to Julia Schwartz. You'll love him. Jeff Johns has this vision. So Jeff Johns rose. One of his primary rises to fame was on Green Lantern and the Justice Society of America. He wrote them for years. Jeff Johns was the guy responsible for bringing them back in the 90s when DC just wanted them dead and buried. And he bought them back anyway as a vanity project, pretty much. Because he worked with Richard Donner, damn it. So they were like, whatever, Jeff, just take it and go. Now all of a sudden, the next huge movie, you thought Wonder Woman set in World War I was going to be epic? Wait until you see a team of 7 superheroes taking on an evil Superman and the entire Nazi regime in World War II. With FDR providing backup vocals, and Winston Churchill, and all these other guys. And, wait a minute, Japan was in the side with the Nazis. Who fought Japan in the Asian theater primarily? The Chinese. Who has all the money in Asia right now? China. So not only is this huge overarching project going to be made, but it's a guaranteed moneymaker in China because they're going to be kicking Japan's butt too in this film. There's all kinds of things that could be happening here, but again, let's close. Let's get back to Mandalorian. I'll discuss that some other time.
We got a podcast.
I gotta cover Captain America's heirs here because we're discussing DC stuff anyway. But anyway, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. Any final thoughts on the Mandalorian?
Well, we do got one more thing to talk about.
Go ahead. That's why I asked.
I don't know the mythology on it. That's something I gotta look up. But there was a black lightsaber in it.
A what?
A black
lightsaber? Yeah, that was supposed to be a callback to somebody, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
That was actually a callback to...
I know there was one somewhere in the storylines. But I just cannot.
I believe that actually calls back to the Star Wars Extended Universe, didn't it? Because when
in
Disney
there,
bought it,
I don't remember.
they ordered a hard reboot, and all the Star Wars stuff except for the first 3 movies was thrown in the trash, and they took over. But I believe the black lightsaber actually calls back to that period that they threw away.
But the black lightsaber in this one, it looked different than any other lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It looked weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that's all about. But
I know there's a lot of people discussing that right now. Maybe that has something to do with the next Star Wars project. Who knows? I mean, for that matter, Rey didn't have a red or a blue lightsaber or a green one. She had a white one.
She got a gold one.
She got a gold one.
Mm-hmm. At the end of it.
Yep.
So.
And
I wish the Mandalorian would keep his crew.
You know he's got to get the band back together again.
Yeah, I know, but I mean it's like.
But Mandalorians are loners, and now, by the way, last warning on spoilers. Technically, he's now Baby Yoda's baby daddy.
Oh yeah.
Baby Yoda daddy
he's
now.
The daddy. Even that's what she said. That's what that one woman said. She's like, "You're the father." He's like,
Mando, you are the father.
I thought that was hilarious too.
And, oh boy, parallels all over the place, because now you're. I mean, if you could sit down, you could actually do an episode. I'm not going to do it. Maybe you'd do it.
Wow.
Do all the parallels between The Mandalorian and The Empire Strikes Back. Look at all the callbacks and everything. Most of them were you had a few to the original Star Wars, but you had most of the callbacks were to Empire Strikes Back, right down to Yoda appearing in the middle of everything, and a Mandalorian sitting there. And remember, I've already criticized this character for basic incompetence because he was having his head handed to him in the first 3 or 4 episodes. But
yeah, but I mean, it's kind of funny though.
So if it comes down to it, if you have to make a choice between spending money on a ticket for Rise of Skywalker or buying a month of Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian, which is the better buy?
Disney Plus.
Mandalorian. Yep. 100%. Okay, last chance before I turn this off and we move on with our lives.
I cannot wait to see what happens next on this good adventure that the Mandalorian's going on now that he's the daddy.
Now, I do have one more little piece of information to point out. This past Wednesday, we had a stunt break out in the comic book industry. A stunt book was written and published. Do you know what stunt book I'm talking about?
No.
Happened in the pages of Superman. Superman outed himself to the entire world and revealed his secret identity was Clark Kent. So he did a full-blown Civil War Peter Parker. But he did it for reasons. Don't know, don't care. Needless to say, all of Superman's villains are furious because how in the world can that be? Actually, I think Brainiac apparently took it the worst, because I have not seen this book yet. Don't worry, Scott, I'm coming. But apparently Brainiac took it the worst, and Lex Luthor is still trying to figure out, how in the hell did he pull the wool over my eyes all those years?
He never...
So,
I don't know. Do you think that you would... All he does is... glasses.
Well, to be fair, he also does a little spit curl. But
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I wanted to address it because I know it needs to be addressed, but I will not discuss it anymore because it's a stunt book. They'll find some way to undo it. This is Death of Superman, part 84, or whatever it is.
We'll save all of that for the podcast when we start doing it.
Yeah, if we have to. But anyway, till next time, I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
That is Chris. We'll see you next time.
Have a good holidays.
Happy ho, 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 boy. See you next time on Geek.
Year.
Yeah. Crazy Kwanzaa and all the rest. See you later, y'all.